Hello everyone, my name is Anton Babenko and welcome to another episode of your daily dose of, sorry, not daily, well for me it's daily again, but for many of you probably it's just weekly. So your weekly dose of Terraform. This is episode number 15 and this time I want to focus on specific things related to Terraform AWS modules. Because if you remember, I asked a few weeks ago what kind of things people want to have episodes about, and many of you said that you want to know more about Terraform AWS modules. Well, that's your choice, and I have plenty of things to do there. So let's get started. So first of all, yes, hello Sergey, and what can we do? Well, first of all, let's say thanks to sponsor env0, and I can share my screen and you will see. Hello, Gabriel. Welcome to this stream. So env0 is sponsoring this episode, and env0 is specializing in infrastructure as code automation. Recently, they have updated website. Now you can see that if you plan pull request, for example, if you want to add an auto-scaling group to Anton's cluster, you send pull request and then env0 will open it and, not open, will execute it and plan will be shown here. I think it's quite cool. If you want to know more about it, you can go to env0.com/Anton and you will see how it is. You can sign in and click quick start and getting started with it is quite easy. So during this week there was quite interesting event. Unfortunately, I was sick and I couldn't attend it myself, but here is it. It was what is it? It was called Tacos because this was event where Terraform automation and collaboration software companies were talking about their products, and Eric Osterman from Cloud Posse was leading this discussion, and I think it was very interesting. So if you are thinking what kind of choice do you have between Terraform Cloud, env0, Scalar, Spacelift, as well as Atlantis, I highly recommend you to join or to at least watch this recording and see if your questions were answered. If you still have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me, or you can write it in this chat, and I will try to answer them as much as I can. And of course, don't hesitate to reach out to me even if you have questions not related to attackers. So that's pretty much it. Go and see this. I will put these links, of course, in the description, as well as timeline. I usually do this so that you can skip to most interesting part on the video yourself. Okay, what else has happened during this week? Well, not many things are going on inside of Terraform 0.14 from, let's say, from development point of view. I would say one interesting thing which I will maybe show in action later today is related to the way how Terraform output is going to be working now. So previously what we could do, we could run Terraform output -json and then write name of variable, and then it would return the whole JSON, and then if it would be a simple string, for example, then we have to use jq-r and get this element as a string. What we can do still is that we can do the same thing again, but now we can just write Terraform output -raw, and it will return this string for us as is. So we don't have to invoke JQ. But it only works for specific types, for simple types, like string and I guess boolean and few other, I don't remember. They're somewhere here in this code. Well, we can see them here. It's quite straightforward, but here is it. no, where is it? Here is it: string, multi-string, number, boolean, object, and null. So that's what they yeah, and object and null is not working. So only string, null, and bool is gonna to work. So these two. And I think it's quite useful because this way we can put it into shell script, but we only have to do this for strings which we know are not gonna to corrupt our output. So take a look at this, and maybe your shell script will be simplified a little bit. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it about the introduction part, and about 0.14 changelog was pretty boring. I mean, of course, work is going on, but not many things were updated there. On another side, Terraform 0.15, which is already, well, not this one is already in active development, and I can see that a lot of things are going to be deprecated. I mean, they were deprecated since 0.12, for example, but now they will simply stop working. So Terraform 0.15 is your last chance to clean up your code before 1.0. And anyway, if you've been using these old syntaxes, you probably have already seen a lot of warnings in your code when you execute it. So just in general, look into your code, and if I search for, let's say, word remove, I can see that few things were removed and very few enhancements will be introduced. In general, you have to make sure that you read these update logs anyway, so I'm not gonna to go through this right now. Okay, so a few things which I want to go today. Well, they're all related to Terraform AWS modules, issues, and luckily there are so many issues that it's just like it's extremely easy for me to find which one to work on. But if you have some preference, please let me know, because today I'm not feeling so well, so I just pick up the easiest things, and hopefully you will still learn something from it. But let's get started. Okay, so I took the first one. Yeah, and what else I can do? Well, yeah, I want to close this tab about Route 53, but before that I want to say to make sure that people know this great news. So if you really want to use DNSSEC on Route 53, from now on you can do this. It's pretty cool that you can use this feature, and as I just talked to one of my friends who said that, oh my god, we just moved to Cloudflare because of this reason. Well, you don't have to move to Cloudflare now if you want to use just this feature. So Route 53 support DNSSEC with few limitations, as you can see here in red, which means that majority of cases will not be able to use DNSSEC, as far as I understand. I may be wrong, but as I can read here, please do not enable DNSSEC if this hosted zone contains an alias record to CloudFront distribution. Well, that's kind of the thing, that most of, or not most, but many of hosted zones are using CloudFront distributions, right? Of course, not everyone is using CloudFront, but many cases. So I'm not sure how people can use DNSSEC if they use CloudFront. So if I click here, then I have to specify some extra details here and there, and it will be just fine. But yeah, please read documentation before you decide to use this feature. Okay, so let's move on. So let's close some things here, and let's focus on issues. As I said, luckily there are a lot of issues, and if you want to be involved into fixing these issues, you are always welcome to join, to review. And in particular, I mentioned this a few times, but I want to remind everyone that if you open an issue, that's fine, but if you open pull request, it's also fine. But if you actually go through open pull requests or open issues, and really help me by reading this stuff, by reviewing this code, by thinking about what this code is doing, and then say like, oh yeah, I think it's good, or I think it's bad, or this doesn't work in this and this case. You will literally save me a lot of time. And when I say a lot of time, think about this. I can give you some kind of tips what we can do during next streams. Well, I asked if people want to do something cool and potentially insanely cool. Well, it is still legal, but people said like, yes, we want, but still majority say no, we want to use Terraform AWS modules. Well, okay. Just a few tips of what I think is potentially insanely cool. And maybe you will not be kind of able to understand it immediately, but I will just say a couple keywords, and you can think, and you can maybe tell me in the chat if this is really cool or is it just bullshit which we don't want to spend our time. So a couple things. Terraform cost estimation. This is one of the projects which I have created, I think in June or May. And what you can do, you put your Terraform state file here or your plan file, and then you get cost estimation here. There is also an API which you can use. If you go to this repository, you can read about it. What I want to do next is that I want to make self-contained Terraform AWS module which automatically calculate price for your Terraform resources used in this or another Terraform state or plan files. What it means is that you run Terraform init, Terraform apply, or Terraform apply, and Terraform apply will do the magic. This is a really complicated magic, but I did some proof of concept to figure out if it's even possible, and it seems to be possible. So this magic will calculate a lot of things, and then it will tell you that, oh, by the way, you are going to spin up resources which are going to cost you $25 a month. Do you really want to do this? And you say yes. If you say yes, then the Terraform proceed execution and deployment happens. I personally think it's really cool because you don't have dependency on anything else. Like literally, all you are going to consume is just AWS API. Tell me if this is cool, or if you want to spend some time discussing it. We can do this as well. And another potentially cool thing, which I'm not sure if I'm able to explain it in plain words right now, but I still want to mention it. And if you think that this is good or bad, just let me know. But before that, I need to drink coffee. Yeah. So the second thing which I want to work on is kind of fun hack stuff, and you know it's Christmas time, so there should be some miracle somewhere. So what if we let's say, I put it another way, I put it instantly from the blog post. Okay, so we have AWS reInvent, which is happening right now. I mean, today is the last day. If we see event, and if we see the frequency of announcements, all of these features are released here, like managed Grafana, and a lot of things in S3, cost anomaly detection, Amazon location. All of these are new services, which are not supported in, let's say, in at least in Terraform. Maybe some of them supported in CloudFormation. Maybe some of them supported in Terraform as well, but it's not the point. The point is that there is no single place where all of them are supported. Some of them have support in SDK, and for me this seems like the easiest thing to think about. So what I want to do is that I want to elaborate on anything. Like approximately a year ago, I made talk, and then I think there was a COVID thing. So I want to manage absolutely anything with Terraform, and I'm not kidding about anything. So anything means and everything what is supported in Terraform AWS provider, which is fine. There is absolutely no rocket science. But what if we want to support something in where it is available right now, probably in CDK or SDK, sorry. This is SDK. And then when it becomes available in Terraform, then we simply migrate from one place to another one, without, of course, a recreation of resource, because we cannot accept a recreation of resources. So to do that, there has to be a few things involved. First of all, it's requiring some work on like Terraform AWS stub provider or shim provider, I don't know how to call it yet, which will simply create like a framework for any resource. Then there has to be some invocation or some connection between AWS SDK. Then when resource is created inside of AWS, we need to agree on what schema it is created. And then when this schema exists, then we can dump it as a temporary schema. Then when Terraform provider has this resource, we will need to figure out how to convert our temporary schema into official Terraform AWS schema and make transition between state. It's kind of complicated thing to even explain, I know, but I think it's quite cool to be able to have support in Terraform as soon as possible. So for us, what it means is that we will simply be able to write something like resource and then AWS shim. It's a name of, and then here is what is it? Deep racer is deep racer. I don't know, deep racer car, if there is such a thing. Give a name to it, and then we say ID my car, and that's it. So as you can see here, we're using this special resource AWS shim, and that's because there is no official support in AWS provider. And of course, the best thing is that we commit to that provider and we wait for some time, but it's extremely impractical in majority of cases. So what I want to do is that I want to be able to write this code, and then when AWS come up with the same implementation, then we simply remove this shim, run some Terraform init, Terraform state mv, Terraform import commands. Most of these things can be automated or auto-generated, and then we just use this resource and delete this one. I know that it's maybe from future, but I think it's just cool, and I usually work on cool things because, well, if I don't want to work on cool things, then what can I do? So let me know if you think this is interesting and we should elaborate on that one, or if we should just focus on the first one, which was AWS pricing module. And I see already 3 people saying in chat that yes for pricing, for AWS pricing module. I personally think it's kick-ass. It's going to be just amazing experience to know how things work inside. I understand most of this, how it works inside, but I need to understand how to make it useful for real things. It's like many of my projects are usually abandoned because I just lose interest there. Okay, 22 minutes and we have not even started doing anything useful. Okay, so meanwhile you can go to Terraform AWS anything and click start here, and yeah, I appreciate that. Okay, so let's move on. So far no reaction on Terraform AWS shim provider, but that's okay. Well, few other ideas which I had, I don't want to cover right now. Okay, my iPhone suddenly decided to upgrade. No, thanks. Right, okay, so let's do some coding. So the first issue which I found, allow Lambda function to be VPC bound. Well, good luck with that. So first, Jorge Rodriguez. Cool. Jorge Rodriguez opened this issue, and then I said I will look at this tomorrow, 22 days ago. And then while I was doing something else, Jorge decided that, hey, by the way, I drop another functionality into this. Well, VPC and S3 are not really related so much, but anyway, let's take a look into the code and think about allow Lambda function to be VPC bound. So what this notify Slack module is doing is deploying Lambda function and deploying it using Lambda module. So here we have few things related to Lambda policy document for the VPC. So we have we are given certain permission to Lambda function to be able to actually do some things related to VPC, like private IP addresses and so on. Well, that's fine, but I guess it is not necessary because Lambda function itself, Lambda function module itself can do this. So, okay, let's check out this. It's issue number 121. Hopefully you can see my screen. I can increase font a little bit. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so it's Lambda, no, not Lambda, it's notify Slack. Let's see. Okay, so 121. Yes. Okay. So here we see the code. I hope you guys also can see the code, and we can see what's going on here. Okay, so previously there were a couple things related to IAM policies to give access to CloudWatch, to KMS to be able to decrypt only if it is necessary. And now he is adding access to VPC. Well, my first thing is that I think this is unnecessary because it is supported inside of Lambda function. So if I look into this code here, and then here use, no, where is it? Yeah, there should be use, no, create, no, that's attach, maybe. I'm sometimes so creative. Right, so attach network policy is probably something what is doing exactly the same. So I think if I specify attach network policy, then Lambda function itself will be able to do exactly this thing. So let me see if I'm right or not. So I'm gonna to be in this folder and I run, no, sorry, not git pull, but Terraform init. Downloading half of internet, and now I should see source code inside of this one. So here my Lambda module source, and here if I scroll to, no, not main, no, where is this network thing? VPC. Right, so it's called this service role, and is this the right one? So I guess this is the one which we have to use, but I'm not sure. So let me go to the browser. Well, oh my god, you didn't see my screen. No, you didn't see this one. Why are you so quiet, guys? Okay, here is amazing invention by AWS of which called search. I go to IAM and I go to policies. Well, I want to find if this policy actually is the same one as he is proposing. I guess it is, but I'm just, yeah, exactly. So he is proposing the same 5 actions to be added. Well, they are already here if I attach network policy. Okay, so I'm going to share the right window now. And in this window, attach network policy is the one which I need to use. So attach network policy equal true. Well, let's attach network policy only if lambda policy. Well, I don't like this kind of expressions myself, but usually there is not much what we can do here. So what's going on? Because the problem with this expression is that you cannot read it just from the middle and understand, okay, that's what I need. You need to read it like all the way to understand all of these conditions. So first of all, it's a concatenation of default one, which is creating log stream and putting events there, and then, if necessary, attaching KMS policy, and if necessary, attaching VPC policy. So what I think is that, well, this one is not needed here. So I guess this is just not necessary, and this one is also not necessary here. Instead, I can just say that if VPC subnet IDs is not null, then attach network policy. Well, I can make it maybe more readable, but I don't know if I should, like true or false. Well, no. I sometimes don't remember which standards I have to follow in different parts of projects. So, okay, so the achievement is quite significant. We don't have to do, well, we don't have to do pretty much anything here. So this is list and this is list. Okay, so first improvement if in this code, at least improvement, the way I think about it, is that we can use previous syntax and we don't need this one. So yeah, that's exactly the same. Cool. Okay, less code to do, to think about. So now about S3 buckets. Well, I'm not quite sure what this is gonna to do. First of all, we want to be able to store. Well, a Lambda function module can store it locally or on S3, but this module does not really care and does not really control where you want to store it. So it can be in this module, or I mean, it can be locally, it can be in S3. As soon as this feature is backward compatible, I'm fine with that. So S3 bucket is null. and here is false, which means that by default it will store it locally as it was before, so which is fine. Okay. Okay, right, so now let's move on. Let's go to examples. Here is CloudWatch alerts to Slack. And now what I want to do also, I also want to update Lambda function module because I'm quite sure that there are no breaking changes in that module because I just know this module myself. So Terraform init here. I will upgrade it, but a little bit later. It's kind of important to do few things at the same time if you're not working with this code for, let's say, for a week. Okay, now if I run Terraform and apply, let's see. That's really cool. It says 36 resources to add. So what we need to do here is that I want to test this functionality. So to make this happen, I need to first create Lambda function as it was before, right? As it was before, we didn't have support for VPC. So this means that there shouldn't be any additional policies related to ENI, and we can say yes here, and now we'll start to update these parameters and see how things are working. So inside of examples, I have to go to, I don't really want to make another example, another copy of this module, just like completely. So I'm just thinking how I can maybe extend it. Because if I copy this stuff and make it for VPC, it will be another 50 resources because VPC itself is about 20 resources. So maybe not 20, but 5, 7. Okay, so notify Slack here. Wow, we already use this cool feature. Cool. Oops. Ah, I merged it. Cool. Okay, cool. Now I see that it has been created. And now what I want to do is that I want to add module VPC here. And that's it. So I just go to another module just to copy this block, and yeah, you see here it's already using attached network policy, so that was really smart. Cool. Yeah, that's okay. Well, actually that's a little bit irritating that changes to output are now highlighted as well. I don't really understand the point, but okay. A random pet. Of course I need to have random pet as well. And I think I like to separate these blocks, and it's really important that there is only one space at the end. Okay, so what I do here is that I make this VPC, I use AZs, intra-subnet, let me think. So intra-subnet is the one which is usually used for very limited, very restricted Lambda functions, which doesn't have access anywhere. So I think it's fine. Not gateways, well, we don't need. So the thing is that intra-subnets are more restricted than private subnet. It's like the most restricted thing. Oh my god, thanks a lot thanks a lot for telling me that. I really hate this program, honestly. I hate that I'm talking to screen and you guys don't see me talking to my screen. That's just insane. Thanks a lot, T Parrot. Okay, I apologize for that. So here is a VPC module block. So now we need to specify that we also want to have support for VPC. So VPC security group IDs and lambda function subnet IDs. So this is gonna to be module VPC. Well, if it doesn't give me autocomplete, what we do, of course we do Terraform init, and now autocomplete will work. But I also don't know all of outputs arguments by heart yet. So module VPC, come on, no. Module VPC, here is it, intranet subnets, and security group will be, well, which one will be? Yeah, it can be default one. It doesn't really matter for this case. Default security group ID. Okay. So that's pretty much it. So what we expect now, well, maybe it's a little bit too much to create, but no, it's okay. No, sorry, init. I just ran it by mistake, but I wanted to run apply. So now we'll see a bunch of these resources plus IAM should be created. And subnet, what? String required. Ah, right, of course, because this is already list and this is list. Yeah. I really like this convention, which I don't know who introduced. I think I introduced, but anyway, I focused that this is plural, then this is going to be list. If this is single, not IDs, then it's going to be single. Okay, fine. So we have. Let's review this thing. First important thing is that this stuff is going to be added by module lambda. Cool. And the rest is going to be added. Oh, I see what is confusing me. This stuff is confusing me because I don't use 0.14 so often still, and well, it's kind of cool to see that 18 unchanged attributes hidden. So yeah, I think it's really making it easy to read. But overall, bunch of VPC things are created or will be created. Policy will be created, and well, what is it? Policy here and policy here. What is it? Why there are two policies? So notify Slack IAM policy, and this one is IAM policy notifies test. Ah, right, of course, we are creating a lot of this. Oh my god, I forgot. We create 3 of each, so that's why there are 18. Ah, right. Yeah, that's when you start using Terraform as a full-featured programming language. You put all of these for each inside of different resources. And here is the bug. What? Yeah. Okay, so So lambda function, let's see. Oh, okay, lambda function in fact did not have, maybe that version doesn't even support VPC. No, it should be support. I mean, VPC was a long time ago inside of lambda function. Okay, so in this regards, there are no changes to VPC block inside of lambda function. So let's take a look first of all in changelog. Yeah, absolutely, it's safe to upgrade to 31 because we're using 28. Yeah, so 28 is, yeah, right. So okay, I will upgrade to 31, but it's not related to the problem which is here. So this problem is related. Well, that's kind of interesting problem, and I'm just trying to figure out how to explain it. So okay, let's look into the source code of lambda function module, specifically where we are generating VPC block, VPC config block. So here we have this information where VPC subnet IDs, right? So what it means is that when we were planning this thing, Terraform didn't know about VPC yet. So that's why it was thinking that this information is null. And therefore, it did not put, it put null into this value. Then Terraform module, Terraform Lambda module, see this as a null, and that's why it did not generate this piece of code. Therefore, it was failing because it was partial inconsistency. And now when I rerun this code, there is already code created, and that's why it just knows that okay, VPC config should be there because there is already subnet. It already knows about these resources. And that's one of this huge problem which I know how to solve it, but it's far from elegant every time. Well, so if I create it now, it will be fine, and I'm quite sure it will be just working. Let me think how this can be solved for this specific case. So what I need, I forgot this term right now, but the point is that we need to instruct Terraform to wait a little bit when planning this resource. We can use sometimes it works, but not always if we work with two modules, not dependent on, so here the problem specifically is that these modules are inside of each other. They're not on the same level. Come on, I told that it should work now. Well, I think it will work because it just takes some time because of VPC. Well, it looks like we're going to spend the whole time on this PR today. But nevertheless, it's really a big problem which is important to fix and to understand it very carefully. So, one more time, what can be done here? So we are creating VPC. So VPC is not known, but it is referenced here. So then inside of this argument, it expects to be list of string or null. I think this is actually the problem, that this is list of string, but actually it's null, which means don't create. So I will try now to put this as an empty list here and see what happens. First, well, it's already almost 2 minutes, but yeah, it can take some time. What else can be related to this one, or what can be done? So here we say that not here, in this code we say that this information is passed here, and that's something what we discussed a couple episodes ago, is when we use unknown information inside of count. Let's say if I use here count and then module.vpc dot something dot I don't know, intra subnets, something like this, more than one, or yeah, anyway, not equal null, or whatever I want, then Terraform is smart enough to process this one. Hello, Maxim. So what can be done here? So Terraform knows how to do with this inside of count, but for some reason we need to tell Terraform to not create this resource, but wait for this resource to be absolutely complete and built, and don't try to assume anything, because by default it will assume that, hey, this is null, and that's why there is no need to create VPC attachment. So the Terraform 013 solution for that one, which I use actually quite often now. I was a little bit skeptical at the beginning, but now I see this as solution for some cases. Maybe that's the case here. So let's see, if I use module VPC as depends on, okay, now it has been created, which is fine. Now let's just destroy everything. So what I want to tell Terraform is that really plan properly VPC first. So when it knows about this, then it can do the rest. We'll see. Again, that's one of the points of using TerraGrant. In TerraGrant, you never ever have these problems because you tell what to do after what. You call this module after that one. That's it. Here we have to struggle with these limitations, and I'm sure that this is not the last limitation which we will have with Terraform in the near future. Actually, yeah, there are a lot of more complicated things which I have no clue how to solve still. So that's why I usually fall back to TerraGrant, and so far it was working well. Okay, now, well, it will spend the same amount of time to delete these resources, and yeah, I think it will make the miracle. I can show the code where this exactly solution is used in very similar way, and I use it since beginning of 013 because that was not possible to do otherwise. It's here. So here I do similar thing. So I want to create Route 53 records, but as you can see, there are dependencies on on this one, modules zone, and this module zone has to be created before, and so that's why I put it here, and I create, where is it? I create zone here. So first I create zone, then I really wait for this one, and then I use it inside of zone name here. So if I look into zone name code now, and if I look into what was the name of it, zone name, zone name. Where is zone name? I don't see zone name here. Where is, oh yeah, here is zone name. Right, so here, yeah, exactly. So here is it. And as you can see, it's similar situation, that it's comparing zone name is not null, then it's using that one. Okay, let's see what's going on. I'm not sure if I want to wait the whole 5 minutes to do this. I mean, 2 minutes to create and 3 minutes to delete. The point is that it should be visible during plan. And sometimes this depends on getting too complicated. I saw a couple projects where depends on consists of 5 or even more different module, which was just impossible to understand who is dependent on what and why. So I think it's one of anti-pattern to instruct Terraform. It's like giving MySQL hints how to optimize queries. The same we do for Terraform, to tell it just, hey, if you see this one, just wait for some time. Okay, here is comments from Maxim. If module in the same folder, I think Terraform should calculate dependency without depends on. Well, if module in the same folder, then it's the same module, because Terraform module is code which is placed in one folder. But yeah, you're right. Then you don't have to use depends on. And you can still use it if you want to give very precise, not transparent dependencies. But in general, you're right that you don't need to use it. So it's still deleting 4 minutes, and last time it spent a long time. It spent 2 minutes, no, 3 minutes to create. Module zone just above, well, no, the problem is that these two are different modules. They are sourcing from modules from one folder, and this is from another folder. So they are as independent as possible. And yes, in root module, where I am right now, there are invocations for this module, for that one, for another one, for this and this, so yeah, for a few different things. Okay, but yeah, you're absolutely right that there are few things which are very logical in regards to depends on, but majority of them, for me, looks like you try to hack the system. Okay, so now it's done. Let's review. Okay, I added it here, and I want to do apply. Probably if there are no direct reference. Yes, exactly. So if there is a direct reference, then Terraform is able to resolve it, but not always. So here is it. That's the one which I wanted to see. And as you can see, now Lambda function is taking into account this VPC config. So now it will be all right. Let's just remove this for this case and try it again and see that. One more time. And it's still here. Don't ask me why. I have no clue why it's there. That's interesting. Well, I have some assumption, but I'm not sure if it is related. So first of all, let me just remove this crazy for each and leave just one, let's say develop. Develop is used, so let's use one, just to minimize amount of resources. So it shouldn't be 51, but it should be a smaller amount of resources. Okay, 25 is still easy to read. Okay, so here, this block, I thought that it will be not shown here, but I was wrong, so it's still here. Okay, what can be the problem here? Let's see. Okay, we are creating a bunch of different resources. We are not using depends on here. Okay, so if I now run this code, will it work? Well, in theory, I have not changed anything because I don't use depends on. Okay, and at the same time, I see this VPC config shown here. So let's see. Because if this is not gonna to help, what we need to do, which is again, I mean, I hate 2021 is almost here, and we still need to write something like a lambda function in VPC equal true. Come on, it's while it is on apply progress. While it is on apply progress. Well, not sure I understand. So the thing is that lambda function in VPC. Well, I'm using 0.14.3, which was released yesterday. So just one second, I will read the question, but I want to make a point about why do we have to use as a fallback extra things like switchers, like Boolean flags. Why cannot we just rely on these values? The point here is that when we are not able to determine whether we need to create resource or some part of configuration based off dynamic values like this one, I mean not dynamic but unknown values yet, we can tell Terraform that it will be created. So that Terraform does not care about this resource right now, but we can tell it that, hey, it will be created, take it easy and plan accordingly. Which means that normally you wouldn't have to do this. But for some situations where Terraform is not able to resolve it so deeply, we need to give hints like this. In IAM module, it has happened that we managed to simplify it because it was not necessary. I don't know why this is the problem here still, so I will have to figure out it. But, well, working with VPC is not the easiest thing still. Okay, now let's see what Maxim says here. Let me just make this a little bit smaller. I don't know why it's so huge font, but anyway. So here is the question. I tried Terraform 0.14 and seems not every module from registry supported. I did not expect 13 to 14 will require a big code change about module. Can you clarify a bit? Oh yeah, of course. So this is a file which I have, and this is exactly the place where things can be wrong. What we had historically was something like this: more than 0.12.6 and less than 0.14, because we were not sure that 0.14 will be so stable. Now if I search across the whole code base, I can see that there are still some modules where code is not compatible so it will not work in 0.14. So what I need to do is that I need to update these remaining bits everywhere. Well, some of these are already inside of cache, so which will be no problem, but some of these places, like this one, are containing different bugs here and there, so that's why it's a little bit risky to update everything. But all other Terraform AWS modules, they were updated and they don't have anything like this. This one is from .terraform, so that's why. Yeah. So just make sure that you don't have upper bound restriction here. Okay, as you can see, magic has happened, and it was able to create this resource now. Well, let's review one more time what has happened. So this line is not needed. So first of all, what I did is that I removed parallel, or not parallel, but multiple copies of the same notify Slack because I was not sure that can I attach one lambda function, no, one lambda function to, or how many, multiple lambda function to the same VPC. I mean, of course I should be able to do this, but well, it didn't answer my question still. So I'm able to create thing without any problem. Let's scroll back and see this error one more time. It's kind of interesting to become an archaeologist for an hour. Okay, provider produced inconsistent final plan. Well, this is a bug in provider. I know that this is bug in provider, but I need to work around about it somehow, which should be reported. Oh my god, believe me, there are so many of these things which are already reported. If I just go to search for that, well, I don't want to share my screen now, but anyway, if I go to GitHub repository for that provider, and I'm sure that this is already reported multiple times, so it's not gonna to help. Okay, but when expanding the plan, yeah, so I guess it was not really happy that there were multiple copies of this one, right? So what if I now do change this one and I just uncomment two more? So what it will mean is that this code now will, or this invocation will now try to attach the same VPC to two more Lambda functions, and well, it will be still taking some time, I guess, like 3 minutes. But this is a really important issue to figure out, and I'm sure that you will see these similar issues in other places of your code. Okay, sorry, let's go through this question one more time. So it is a matter of updating constraints, but not a code breaking change. Yes, you're absolutely right. And usually, if you know that you are using certain functionality, like for example in Lambda module, we are using container, what is it? Here is it. We're using container images, and this feature became available just in very recent version of Terraform AWS provider. So now we updated the lower bound. So if somebody wants to use this module, they will have to use this provider. Previously it was something like 2 point something. Now it's really recent version. And the same for Terraform. If we suddenly want to use new cool features, then we have to update it, and we have to save. Also, before that, like long time ago, when it was 0, I don't know, 8 or something like that, we used to put a lot of how to say it, a lot of rules here to say like more than this version, but not, or I don't know how to write it, not equal 0.13.0, because this version, for example, contains some bug. But now we don't have to do this so often. Okay, let's see. So will there be any problem now? Well, 50-50. If there is a problem with this behavior now, then okay, I will go and report this issue. I mean, not report, but I will upvote existing issue, and I will see. Any other things which you guys want to ask? We spent significant amount of time on this module, but I'm sure that we still will be able to fix maybe one issue, small issue. Cool. So yeah, it was a bug, and the bug is related to the fact how Terraform calculate separate, or in general how Terraform calculate plan. That's like in simple way. So there is no need to give additional hints, which depends on, like it was necessary to do with Route 53, because there it just doesn't work. And yeah, that's it. Okay, so now I just want to, if I remove it from this function, I mean from this place here, and yeah, I can just commit. I don't want to commit this example with these 2 lines here, because it just takes time, and I don't think a lot of people will use it with VPC, to be honest. But anyway, feature is here. Code is slightly simplified because I removed a few things here. Okay, now let's do some commit here. Where is it? Git. All right, another thing which I wanted to do is that I wanted to update main TF to 1.31. So to do that, I need to run init. So and what I expect to happen now, okay, I will uncomment this one just for this example. So if I run Terraform apply now, there should be no there should be no significant changes. So version 1.28 and 1.31, they're pretty close. Oh man, what is this? Okay, let's review it one more time. So it says notify module will be replaced because lambda right, yeah, there were some things probably related to no, what is it, to IAM policies. Yes, here is it, customize prefixes. So if I look into this, this source code here. So what is going on in this example? Well, this is example code, so yeah, right. In general, information about it's a create role. Yeah, so this is relevant for a situation when I want to deploy the same function but in multiple accounts, so that's why IAM roles should be distinct. Because they are not, they are really global, so they cannot have the same names. Okay, so what is this change about for this specific module? Let's summarize it, because it's kind of important to figure out whether it is possible to merge. First of all, it's really important to think about backward compatibility. Sometimes I think that just spend way too much time on backward compatibility things. So here, if I look into source code of let's say additional, where is it? No, lambda. So it proposed to change to prefix with lambda. Why? Who is saying this? Lambda. Yeah, because previously it was using, so as I can see here, previously it was using function name, and now it's using local role name, and role name is prioritizing role name. Okay, so role name inside of module Okay. Right, and it has this lambda Well, I think it's actually correct here. So what is this? Is it we tell that we want to use role name, which is prefixed, which is the right one, actually, right? Yeah. Is it related to? No, it's a long time ago. Okay, so what can be? So previously it was not respecting this information. It was just using function name. That's why it was this function name, and if I want to deploy the same function in multiple regions, then that was it. Now, if I want to, let's say, well, this is not backward compatible change, so that's why I'm really skeptical to introduce it just yet. But anyway, at some point it should be merged. Well, yeah, I think it's about time to do, but next time. So let's say 128 is enough for this code to be merged, but the next upgrade, which is going to happen, should be backward incompatible. There is not much what we can do. Okay, so Terraform plan, no, apply. All right. The module version has changed. I know. In general, all of this versioning in a bunch of different places seems rather confusing for many people who are new to Terraform. Like versions of what? I'm still surprised that so many people skip the 0 in version in Terraform. So that there are a lot of blog posts, a lot of comments where people say, oh, Terraform version 12 or version 14. Yeah. Okay, so what is in this case? What exactly is happening here? What's forcing you changed? It's hard to understand what's actually forcing you change. Qualifier has changed. Well, I'm a bit lost what I did here, but it's safe. Anyway, even if I'm lost, it's still safe. So just to summarize, what's on here: bunch of resources connecting to VPC, VPC creation, time to update some documentation, slash channel with using KMS. Lessons, grades, VPC. That's my addition. Here. Okay, so let's update the last thing here, which is no, not git ignore. Where is it? Maybe this git ignore. Yeah. Okay, it's not big difference here. Anyway, this file is not needed inside of module, so should be fine. As you can see, this folder, Terraform AWS price and state, is my work related to the Terraform AWS module for pricing, which I mentioned at the beginning. Okay, random provider, which version do we use? Where is it? Where is it? Notify Slack, version, random, I think it's more than 2, or more than 2, more than 2, yeah, more than equal to. You see, so there is actually some value in these pre-commit hooks. They're doing something. It's so cool that you see a lot of red, and then you fix all of this, and then it suddenly become green. It's kind of cool. Unfortunately, not many companies are paying for that. Like if you change color from red to green, not many people will say thanks. And by the way, talking about saying thanks, earlier this week I discovered that AliCloud was inspired by my Terraform AWS modules work, and they copied it, and they just removed parts which were complicated, and now AliCloud has some modules. Well, they did it a long time ago, but I just discovered it recently. Okay, so git push. Git push, oh my god, I hate it when it happens. So this happens because this person does not allow me to push to that fork. So when he opened pull request, he didn't click allow edits from maintainers or something like that. So I need to do this myself. So I need to push to my own fork. Okay, fixed. Really creative. What? Failed to push some ref. Oh yeah, right, of course not. No. Failed to push. Why? Does not match any. Well, I know that it doesn't match any. So now instead of one pull request, there is another one. Okay. This pull request is here. Indeed, not many things to look into. I don't think there is point to document any challenges which I have been going through, because, well, it's just life. Fix. No, it's not fix, it's, what is it? Well, it was actually this one. So now if I merge, okay. Okay, I think it's good now, right? Yeah, it should be good. So now let's release it, and I will delete the code after. I mean, I will delete infrastructure after. Okay, so I think that was it for today. I planned like 6 different issues, but it was just one. And as you can imagine, there are a lot of similar issues which can take from 5 minutes to several hours to work. If you want to support my work, you probably know how to do. Well, you can subscribe and do whatever you want on YouTube, but if you want to help like for real, your company or your employer can now support my work. That's pretty cool. Well, I only got one new support during last week after this feature became available. So that's it from me. And if you don't have any other questions, let's meet next week and we'll see what we work on. It should be something fun. And maybe we will work on pricing module, maybe something else. Stay tuned and have a good holidays if you are celebrating any, like I do. Bye.